Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to today's session. My name is Madhur Singh, and I will be taking your session on how to get a 100% hike in your salary in 2022. So, before starting, please could anyone confirm if I'm clearly audible and visible to all of you, and if my screen is visible? Okay, Ashwini Shukla, thanks for confirming. So I'll start with the session now. So this is a session on how to get a 100% hike in your salary in 2022. With so many requests coming in to us to take a session on this particular topic, so we are here with this topic as per your demand. So how to get a 100% hike in your salary in 2022. Now, before moving on, I'll just showcase the agenda for this session, how we'll move forward in this session. So first, we'll talk about what are the factors to consider while evaluating the salary hike. What are the various factors we need to consider as an employee, or if we are working in a company, so as an employee, or if we are looking out for jobs, or if we have received some offer letters. So how would we consider evaluating what should be our current CTC? What should be the CTC that we deserve? So what would be the factors that would be, affecting that particular thing? First, we'll talk about that. Then for the people who are attending this session, who are currently working in an organization, since this is the appraisal time, since this is the time where companies evaluate their employees to give them a certain increment in the work that they are doing, right? So for them, how do you negotiate the salary within your organization? We'll talk about that. Then we'll move ahead in talking about the negotiating the salary outside the organization. If you're planning to switch your job, or if you have received offer letters from various companies, how would you negotiate your salary then? So we'll talk about that as well in this particular video. At the end, we'll talk about if you have a 6 year gap, 2 year gap, of if you're planning to switch your current job from a non-programming background to a programming background, or to move into the IT industry. So how can you do that, right? What will be the ways in which you could do that? That we'll talk about in raising your bar by upskilling. At the end, I have a bonus section for you where I will tell you where you can find all these things in a much more effective and concise manner. That is a bonus tip for you. Please stay till the very end, because this is going to be a knowledge pack session. So first, we'll talk about the factors, right? Factors that would be affecting your evaluation of a particular job that you are in. So according to a recent survey, it was estimated that only 33% of the people are willing to negotiate for their salaries, right? That is a very, very, very low number. Only 33% of the people who are in their current job, or who have received their offer letters, are willing to negotiate for their CTC, right? Now let me tell you the psychology of the companies. How do they look as employees, right? They want to hire the best minds that are available in that industry. What do you mean by best minds? It means that the people who are very well structured, who have the best of experience and the best of knowledge, they want to hire them, but in a more economical manner. They want to give them the package that is more, on the economical side, that is optimum with the industry standards. They don't want to give you more than what is required. Here is where you as an employee, or who is looking for a job, would come in to negotiate your salary. Yes, most of the people don't negotiate, and the primary reason for that is that they are scared whether that offer letter will go away from them, or they are scared whether the repo with their managers will go wrong. That is not the case at all. No one would take away your offer letter once they have offered it to you, depending on whether you are negotiating or not. They would never do that. You have every right to negotiate the salary that you have been given. You have every right to negotiate the way you want your CTC to be structured. There is no limitation in that, and I'll tell you why. So, what are the various factors to consider while evaluating the salary hike? The number one is the market research. From your side, what would you estimate it to be. You need to do the market research of the job profile that you are interested in, or if you are in the current job, right, what you would want, whatever appraisal you get, right, you would need to meet the industry standards first. You need to know what the competitor companies are offering. How would you find that? There are various ways. You can use LinkedIn. You can connect with the people who are working in their company. You can know what type of increment they get, or what is the salary in that particular position offered in their company. So you need to make sure your market research is very well done. And also we are going to make this session very very interactive, so if you have any doubts in the session along the way, you can please put them in the chat box. I'll be more than happy to reply to all your queries. So second point that comes up is geographic location. Now we have just been through the COVID era. We know that everyone was working from home, so the companies also thought, okay, we would not give them a very good increment because they don't have factors like living in tier 1 city, tier 2 city, tier 3 city, because everyone would be working from home. So they did not consider that. But now offices are beginning to open. Now they have to consider this as well. If you're working in a metro city, the cost of living in a metro city is high, so they would consider structuring your CTC in such a way that that things would be considered in that. Now again, you have to make sure that the according to the cost of location, according to the geographic location, what is the optimum amount of expenses that living expenses that you have to incur. So you have to make sure your research is very well structured in that regard as well. Okay, then we'll talk about what else is important in the CTC, the years of industry experience. That is another important thing. If you have good, more experience, then of course your increment would be higher than your peers. If your years of industry experience is low, then it is not necessary that your increment would be more. Why? Because if you are continuously upskilling yourself, if you are continuously making sure that your skills are up to date about the industry standards, then no one can take away your desired increment from you, irrespective if you have industry experience or not. But if you have an industry experience, of course it is a benefit to the company. Then comes the years of leadership experience. This particular point is really important if you have worked for 3 and 4 years in the company, because if you have grown 3 to 4 years in the company, then you would probably be, handling a team. You would probably be working on a project, managing a lot of people. This is where that particular thing comes in, the years of leadership experience, how you are managing the team, how well you are structuring the team, how efficient you are with the goals that have been provided, the key performance indicators that have been provided. So you need to make sure that that is also very well structured in your regard from your perspective. Then comes licenses and certifications. Now I mentioned about upskilling. So when you are looking out for jobs, when you are considering the offer letters of other companies, if you have applied to other companies, right, they would also look at the licenses and certifications that you have. If you have certifications from very good, like for example, if you have Google certifications, if you have, SAP certifications, so all these certifications make a very very big role in determining how much increment you get, and also how much well structured your CTC would be, right? Then comes considering your future career goals. Now as a self person, you need to be little more focused on how you have to see it, right? If you have, let's say, four or five offer letters from different companies, now how would you choose which one is the better one, right? Everything is not about the money you get, the component you get, but also about how would you look at your future in that company. Is whether the company is providing good, appraisals every year, or whether it is in a very low structured in terms of your job position as well. Whether you are stuck in at the analyst role for 4 years, then that is also not good for your career. So in order to find such good companies, if in order to find such well structured companies, you have to look around, you have to network around, which is the next point. You need to network around through LinkedIn. You can do it. You can, make friends at the conferences if you go. So you can make sure that your networking is good. And even in your own organization, you need to make sure that you are, interacting with a lot of people around, because then you would know the people who have been working there for 2 to 4 years would have better knowledge about how the company functions, how the company increment structure and appraisal structure works. So that would be another good scenario for you to look at. Then comes at the end is find your man. What does this mean? What is the meaning of man? Man is the minimum acceptable value that you would consider. That should be in your brain that okay, at this particular analyst role, I would only want, let's say, 8 CTC. Then that is your minimum acceptable value. If someone gives you 7.5, you straight up say no, because you should have a barrier in your brain that okay, this is the barrier that I have, that it starts from 8. Right, so this is what you need to think, and this is how your psychology should be when you are structuring yourself, when you're evaluating yourself for a particular job hike, appraisal, or if you are looking out for the job offer that you need to accept. Then comes the note. All the components in your offer letter, right? Offer letter has gross pay, it has basic component and everything. So you need to make sure that all the components in your offer letter, right? You need to read them each one by one, and all of them are negotiable. It's not like you can only talk about the bonus that you would get, or you will only talk about the base salary. It is not true. Take you can take this as yourself. You can take it as the way in which you have to structure it. Okay, you can talk about bonuses, you can talk about the basic salary, you can talk about the other components as well. Okay, Ashish Tiwari is asking, this is live or pre-recorded? Ashish, this is a live session. If you have any queries, you can type it in the comment section. Okay, Neeraj is asking, I finished PGP DSBA from Great Learning. My company has given additional project on data analysis to work with the data team and develop dashboards. How do I negotiate as I don't have the work experience in data domain? Neeraj, have they provided you with this with an offer letter yet? Okay, you have just joined the company, so you would have an appraisal cycle in the next 6 months. So after the work that you do in the first 6 months would be considered in that scenario. So you need to make sure that you are working for 6 months. You have your data ready on how many projects you worked on, how what was your team, what was your responsibilities that you took up. Then you can showcase that in your next appraisal cycle. Right. So, what were the components that we are talking about? All the components in your offer letter are negotiable. So, there are a lot of components in your offer letter. That is your salary component, the base salary component. You have the bonuses, you have how many holidays that the companies give you, you have the childcare policies, you have the schooling that they provide for the children, you have higher education, right? If you are just a recent graduate from a college, you started working in a company, then you can also see in their CTC whether they have mentioned that they would be supporting you, they will be sponsoring you in your higher education or not. That is also one of the incentives that the company give. Then you have the transportation allowance. If you're living outside the city, if you're living somewhat at the offset from the office, they would provide you they would provide you the transportation allowance as well. So all these things come under the umbrella of CTC. And also house rent allowance, if they are giving you house rent allowance, and whether they are providing you the opportunity to upskill yourself, that is learning and development, whether they are giving you the opportunity to learn or not, that is also really important. All right, next we talk about how do you negotiate the salary within the organization. Now, this is completely for the ones who are working in a company and they have, 6 months down the line, they have their first appraisal cycle. So now, what would they do? What would be their structure? What would be their thinking? Now, first, the 6 months that you have worked in, you need to get your numbers. You need to do your math about the numbers that you have, how much projects you have worked on, how many hours you have worked on, what are the various responsibilities and key performance indicators that you have, what responsibilities you took. So all that you need to make sure it is in a data centric form, because at the end your organization would look at the data, how many projects you closed, if you're in a consulting company, how many clients you worked with, what was the output, right? What was your what was your responsibility in that particular area, in that particular project? Did you interact with a lot of team members? Are you a good team member? So all that things will be considered in in the evaluation of your appraisal cycle. So this is number one. Next is evaluate your contribution. Already talked about it, that you need to make sure you have crystal clear on the tasks and objectives that you worked on. If you took extra responsibility, you need to add that as well. Again, this is really important because everything that you worked on have to be there in your particular self review sheet. It should be mentioned clearly what all tasks you have been working on and what was your output in this. Because at the end, company would ask, okay, you worked on this many hours in this thing, what was the output? They will bluntly ask you that what was your output. If you have worked 10 hours and your productivity was nil, then they would not give you appraisal. They would give you a very brief, merely 1 or 2% appraisal because you just did mediocre work. So this is not going to happen if you have been working continuously for 6 months. You have your data metrics are ready, then everything will go smooth for you. Okay, I'm doing data science and business analysis course from Great Learning. I want to switch field. What should I do? I will tell, don't worry about it, Ravi. I will tell you how you can switch your career path. You don't have to worry. You have to stay till the very end. I will tell you from where you can do it, how you can do it. I'll tell you in detail. Okay, Abhishek is asking a really good question, that I'm working under a banking industry from the past 6 years, and if I'll go for a data science job, will they consider me as a fresher or experience? Well, it depends, Abhishek. If they consider you as a fresher or not, it depends on the skills that you have. If you have the skills that are required for the company, they would not consider you fresher. They would consider you an experienced person because you are coming from a banking background of 6 years and you also have the skills that are required for that particular job role. Now I'll tell you how you can gain those skills also at the end of this course. But yes, they would not consider you fresher upfront because you have worked 6 years in the industry. But what is really important is that you need to make sure that you are upskilling yourself in the field of data science as you want to be. Okay, Ashish, you have to wait till the end. I will tell you how you can do that. You are mentioning that you were in your brother's company. Now you want to switch into the other company. Yeah, doesn't matter if you are from BC or any other thing. You have a working background in MNC, that is really good. So if you want to switch to that, I'll tell you what are the skills that are required from your regard that you need to make sure you have when you are applying for any other company. Just stay till the very end. I'll tell you where you can do that. But this particular conversation is about how would you negotiate your salary when you are in your organization. If you have, would you make sure that your increment is good going forward in this job? And if you are planning to switch job, right, I'll tell you how you can negotiate your salary if you want to switch your job. All right. So next point is sell your work, right? When you have your data ready, when you have your data set ready, okay, this is what I have worked on the past 6 months or 1 year. Then the next set of task is that you need to identify, you need to sell your work in a more, it should be in a more starry way. It should be in a way that is more acceptable to everyone and it looks fascinating in the first look. That is what you need to do. Sell your work. Then comes identify the possible pushbacks. Now, when you are sitting in the appraisal meeting with your manager or with the HR team, beforehand you need to make sure what could be the possible things that they would say, what could be the possible pushbacks they would have, and you need to have the answers for that. Maybe they would tell you that, okay, you are in a team of six. If your working total progress is 20%, the other one is 23%. So you need to make sure you have the answer for that, you need to have the counter for that. So since you have been working for 6 months, you would know how your managers are, you know what they could ask you, right? So you need to make sure that what would be the possible pullbacks that they can pushbacks they could give you. So you need to be ready with those questions as well. Then think of the organization, how and what, in which ways. This is the condition of the company. If you're working in a startup, you need to make sure what type of budget they have in that particular year. Yeah, it depends on the year as well. If they performed really well in that year, you could get a really good appraisal. You can negotiate it to another level. But if the company is not performing well, then do not expect a very good appraisal from their end, because the company in itself hasn't performed well. So how would they give you the benefit of it? Because when the company performs well, you could really negotiate to a very high level. 100x, we are talking about 100%. It could go up to 150% as well, right? It depends on how good the company has performed in that year, right? You need to talk again, you need to do a lot of networking for that to know. You need to talk to a lot of people in your organization, so you could get the hints of, okay, the company is doing good or bad. Then you can negotiate in that regard. Then is, don't be emotional, right? Now the company does not care if you are meeting your expenses, if you have if you have certain problems in your life that is going on. They would not care about that. What would they care about? They would care about the package that they are giving you, the work that you are doing, right? So you don't have to be in the appraisal meeting with your manager. You do not have to be emotional. You do not have to tell them a sob story about your life. You have to be very upfront, very professional in that regard, because frankly speaking, it would not help you in the negotiation process. You can't tell them, okay, I have to take care of five members in the family, so I need more money. No, this would not work out, simply because it is not possible to for them to account that, because they have to go by numbers. They have to go by the performance that you have showcased in the past 6 months or 1 year. Then be realistic. Now what does this mean? This means that if you're sitting in the appraisal meeting, you are currently getting 5 lakhs, let's say, and you want to get 12 lakhs, and your manager also gets 12 lakhs. So do you think it is even reasonable to tell them that I want a CTC of 12 lakhs? They would straight up say no, and they would say, okay, you are out of your mind. So you have to be very realistic in regards of what type of increment you want, right? It can't be more than the managers, right? So it has to be in the most optimal manner that would be for good for you and as well as for them. Then speak up, learn to say no. Now what is this? Because when you ask for a salary increment, when you negotiate your salary increment, that okay, I'm giving you 20%, no, I want 50%. The first reaction from them would be no, I don't think so. From the HRs would be that no, this is not possible, maybe this would not work out for us and all. But you have to straight up say no to that, because you cannot accept the offer that you're not willing to take. You have to stand for yourself. You have to give yourself the support that no, if I can't go below 8 CTC, so I cannot go below 8 CTC. You have to be very stable in that regard. You have to be polite. You can't be aggressive in that front, but you also need to be more persuasive that okay, uh, uh, a sample would look like that: thank you for considering me for this particular role. I really like the offer that you have sent, but seeing my experience, seeing my skills, seeing the work that I have portrayed in the past 6 months, I think I deserve more. That is how would you come up with a negotiation for your salary in your organization. What would be the next thing? Next thing is negotiating the salary outside the organization. Now, what would you do if you have received the offer letters from different companies, or if you're looking out for jobs? What would you do when the time comes when you are considering for CTC? Now, most of you would ask me that, hey Madhur, most of the companies already mention their CTC before we apply. So that is not true. If they are writing a particular CTC, that can always be pumped up. It is not like that is the hard line that they won't give you more than that. That is not true, right? They would give you more according to the experience you have, according to the skills that you have. I personally believe, and I know this from because I talk to a lot of students, talk to a lot of fellow people who are working with me, that in today's world, in 2022, it does not matter if you have a degree or not. It what matters is that whether you have the relevant skills that are required in that particular job. That is the most important thing that we talk about in today's world. Why is this? Because during the 4G revolution in 2016, we all switched to smartphones. Then during the demonetization, we switched to the cashless payments, right? And in 2022, after the COVID, we switched to online learning. Now, in today's world, only the skills matter. It does not really matter whether you have a degree or not, you have a 6 year gap or not. What really matters is, do you have the relevant skills? That is what really matters. So, considering negotiating the salary outside the organization, what would you do? What would be your thought process? So, again, the first step would be to do your math. Second would be to sell your work. What does this mean? Selling the work means what you have done so far in the company, in your previous company, and how you can put that in the numbers to showcase in your next company. Now, if you have received more than one job letter, what would you do? If you have considering three different job letters you have received, one gives you, let's say, 7 lakhs, the other gives you 9 lakhs, and the other one gives you, let's say, 8 lakhs. What would you do? So your thinking should be that in your first interview, when you receive the offer letter, you can simply go to the other company and tell them that, okay, my in the first company that gave you 7 lakhs, you could go and tell them the other company is giving me 9 lakhs as CTC. So you could match their offer, because I really believe that the skills that I have need a much better raise. So even if they even match the current CTC, you could always tell the third company, okay, they have matched the CTC, now you could give me more. Right? This always works out in this regard, because then they have the outlook that this particular person is in demand. This particular person, so many companies are willing to even increase its CTC, right? Increase his CTC or her CTC. So in this regard, they can increase or pump up your particular job offer. And also, right, this is really important. Okay, money is one aspect, that is cool, but what think about that, where your future lies, because at the end of it, at the end of your career, you would only think about what you have done in the past, what was your future then, right? So think of the organization that you see a future in. If they are paying little less also, it doesn't matter, you can always pump it up later. But if you're going to a company that you don't believe in the values, in their core values, then there is no point in going for a higher CTC. Consider CTC which you feel that is optimum in your regards, and also that the organization you believe in. Go in that particular regard. Again, try to get a second offer. Now, when the companies are giving you offer letters, they have matched it, you can always ask them for more. You can always negotiate them that, okay, this is the skills I really want more, I really would deserve more. And if that is not working out as well, right, you could always tell them, okay, you are not giving me right now, that is fine, but in the next 3 to 6 months, if I portray my performance, would you give me an appraisal then? Then they would be left with no choice but to say yes, or if they straight up say no, then you can always take that offer if it is more than what you expect, right? Again, I talked about minimum acceptable value. You always have to have minimum acceptable value plus 12% of it. That is what you should always aim for. Then at the end is, okay, Ashish is asking me that increment depends upon skills or experience. Again, Ashish, it depends on both. But if you have a friend who has years of experience and you at the same position, then it would depend whether the increment would depend whether you are upskilling yourself or not. If you're not upskilling yourself, your friend, the other person, would get much more higher increment because of the experience. But if you have the relevant upskills that are required for the next increment, next, the position you will be in, then it is really doesn't matter if you have experience or not, but skills are really, really important. Any other questions? You can put them in the chat box. I'll be more than happy to reply. So in this negotiating regard, in this particular segment also, you need to be really be realistic on the approach, right? You cannot again go for the number that is not even feasible for the position that you are in. Your market research should be perfect, right? Again, do not go for any increment within the organization or outside the organization that is below the inflation rate. Inflation rate usually is between 6% to 8%. If any company gives you less than that, you should not take it, because if the inflation rate per year is 6 to 8% and you're getting less than that the increment, then that is not even feasible for you to survive. So do not go for any increments that are less than the inflation rate. That is the industry standard. All right. Now, after talking about these negotiation and all that, what is really important, what most of the people were asking is that changing their career paths, if they have gaps in education, what I read, and also what skills are required in today's world. So I'll tell you about that. What are the skills that are required that are the most trending skills in 2022 that would definitely put you in the top 1% in your company, in your organization, and in your field as well. So let's look at what is the first skill, that is coding. This is hands down the most common thing that we have heard from ages now. There used to be a time, I'll tell you why this is important to upskill. During the 2004 and 2005 times, the most trending thing to learn was Microsoft Word, right? And in today's world, Microsoft Word has become a necessity. Similarly, during 2012, coding was supposed to be the most trending thing, but now in today's world, in 2022, if you do not know coding, that is quite worrisome for the job that you are applying. So coding is really important. Coding, what it is the computer programming through which you communicate with computers, and code instructs a machine what to do. It is just a set of instructions. This is, I'm telling it to the non-programmers, that it is a very easy thing. I've learned coding. It is really, really simple. You just have to focus on the steps and the languages that you need to learn. I'll tell you where you can learn all these things for free, and you can also get a certificate for that. I'll tell you in the at the end of this session where you can learn these skills. So what are the main core skills that you need to know? That the programming languages that you need to know in coding, that is C++ and Python, Java, R, and C. Apart from all these, what are the most important ones? That are C++, Python, and Java. Python being the most important one because everything right today goes more or less with Python, right? Yes, Praveen, bachelor degree holders can definitely apply for data science. They can switch their career to data science. Definitely, that is possible very, very easily. You need to have the relevant skills. I'm again highlighting a lot in this regard that upskilling is really, really important. Getting the job depends on the skills that you have in today's world. It does not depend on the degree you have, but the skills that you portray in your CV, in your resume, whatever the skills that you have, that is really important. How would you get those skills? You need to have certifications for that. How would you get your certifications? You need to stay tuned to this session because I'll tell you from where you can get all of these. The second most important thing is that now some people tell me that okay, they are from a non-programming background and they have no interest in coding whatsoever. So what is the thing that they would want to do? Now, considering their scenario, in today's world, there's a thing called content marketing. If you look at most of the YouTubers around, the people who are influencers on Instagram, what they are really doing is content marketing. Now these businesses, these things on are online. If there was times when they used to do traditional marketing, you would see commercial TV ads, you would have a company selling their products through ads on newspapers, on ads on billboards on highways, or pamphlets, right? But in today's world it has completely changed. It has changed to the fact that everything is digital now, and digital means lot of data that is being created by users like you and me. So in order to manage that data, in order to make sure that everything is in the most optimum manner, content marketing is the field. It is used by businesses to reach and convert the potential customers. And only the sad part is that everything is digital today, but there are very few digital marketing experts. There are very few content marketing experts, which is why you can put you can change your career into marketing, because lot of people these days are switching their career to marketing. And the best part is that you can do it from your home. You can just sit in your home and do it. You don't really need to go out of your home also if your company allows, because everything is online, everything can be done easily online. Now, the elements to have in content marketers, if you're switching your career to content marketing, what are the skills that you need to have? That is, you need to know about content planning skill. How do you plan the content? At what time is the optimum time to post a particular video, or post a particular message? So that you need to know. You need to know what are sales funnels. Okay, you don't need to do sales, but you need to know how to digitally attract a customer, how to make a potential customer into an actual customer of the company, right? There are skills to do that, and I'll tell you how to acquire those skills in content marketing also. You just have to stay till the end, I'll tell you. Then comes market research, right? You need to be good in competitor analysis, in analyzing what the competitor company is doing, how they are performing, and all that you would have to know. Then is search engine optimization, also known as SEO skill. What is that? If you go to Google, if you search anything, there are a lot of websites that come up, right? From your user experience, you would know that you only click on the first few ones. Why? Because Google is showcasing it at the top, so it must be good, right? Which is true. That is why search engine optimization, this is the organic way of companies to put their websites at the top. A lot of research goes on beyond how to, rank your particular website on the top. This is done through a lot of efforts like keyword analysis, like, ranking using the things that Google algorithm, understanding the Google algorithm. So you would learn that in content marketing, you would know what it is. Then comes the analytic skills, the skills that are required in analyzing the videos, in analyzing how they will gain traction. So content marketing is also the upcoming skill for particularly the non-programmers who have been tuned in, the ones that do not require any coding skills. For them, content marketing is really important. Then comes UI UX design. Now, what is UI UX design? It is basically, again, for the non-programmers. You have to, if you've seen any website, how the color gradient functions in that website, how are the different tabs attached to different things in that website. So all these things are done by UI UX designers. Now, user interface designers, they focus on the topographic designs, the spacing between the two segments, the color gradients, the contrast, and the illustrations, how aesthetically beautiful they can make a website. This is done through user UI designer. Okay, Praveen is asking me that online lecture uh, certificate or offline lecture, any issue for joining company? Okay, I think what you are trying to ask is that if you are learning online or if you're learning offline, does it make any difference in joining the company? So the answer is no, Praveen. In today's world, what is really important is that the skill that is required by you, the skill you should have for the job that you are applying for. It doesn't really matter you have applied, you have studied, you have known that skill offline or online. But these days, most of the people prefer online because that can be done at the ease of your home, right? You can gain the best of the best knowledge staying at home, which is why digitally it is really important. All right. So next is UX designer. What does UX designer focus on? The UX designer essentially focuses on understanding the requirements of the customers. They talk about what the customer really wants. Then it is trying to understand the goals of the clients. What are the essential goals that the company is trying to achieve, and also about how would people use that website, right? If you go today on Swiggy, Zomato, you would have a user experience that you would follow, right? Okay, you would find one website to be good, one website to be bad. The thinking from the customer's perspective is what is called UX designer, what UX designer focuses on. Then they brainstorm the user flow, how the user flow will go, and also they would create the various wireframe models. What are these wireframe models? Basically, it is the dummy model to portray how your website will look. Then is cloud computing. This is also one of the most upcoming trends that we have in this world, in this today's world. The cloud computing, the supply of computer services over the internet, including servers, storages, database, networking, software analytics, and intelligence, is known as cloud computing. Cloud computing is a fascinating new topic that has a potential to transform the way people work online. So all the storage database, if a company in today's world, if a company is there, they would have massive amounts of data that has been collected. Now they cannot run all their computers with hard disks, right? They would have to store somewhere online. That is cloud computing. They would store their data online in through cloud computing. What are the things that you need to learn in cloud computing? That is Linux. You need to learn about that. You will learn about the database skills. You will learn about MySQL, Hadoop. You learn about programming languages, that is Java and Python, and also network management. Where you can learn this, I'll tell you again. You have to be with me in this session. I'll tell you where you can grasp all this knowledge at one particular place. All right, next is web development. What comes under web development? Now, web development skills are popular across a wide range of industries that results in a wide range of job opportunities as well. Now, what are these job opportunities that I'm talking about? So these are basically the web development essentially is making the website, coding that website. Okay, what are the skills required for that? That is HTML, JavaScript, UI UX design, C hash and .NET frameworks. Okay, sorry. So that is the key skills that are required to be learned from your end. In big data, now big data is basically about analyzing data, data science, data scientists, and this is the most hot skill to learn in 2022. Hands down, the most important skill to learn, because most of the jobs, most of you also asked in the comment section that what is the most trending thing to convert into data science. So you also know that data science is really, really important to learn. Now, data science is the science of gathering, analyzing large volumes of data in order to extract relevant information that aids their decision making. Again, what are the skills that are required to be learned in big data? That is Python, that is R, that is MySQL, that is Tableau, and data mining tools like Nime, Apache Mahout, and RapidMiner. All these skills can be learned very easily. I'll tell you from where to learn. You have to stay in the session. I will tell you at the end where you can learn all this for free, and you get the certificate as well. Okay, Praveen is asking me that I'm working in Amazon as a problem solver, quality assurance, 2 years experience. Then can I apply for data science basic package for data science? See, basic package would depend on the company that you are applying. You have to apply for a lot of companies, but if you have the necessary, if you have the necessary skills to be in data science, only then you would get a good package. If not, then you would not, because you have a problem solver quality assurance one. So you would have to upskill yourself in order to do that. Okay. AI ML is a very high end of data management. It is a very high end of in the field of data analytics. This is the topmost thing. Why? If you've seen Tesla, they have come up with self driving cars on the roads, right? Most of the people are working on self driving cars. Then face recognition, if you have used Lenscard app, for example, you would have known that face recognition comes in. So all these things, they are important in artificial intelligence and machine learning. Keeping note of the buying patterns, personalized suggestions are a part of machine learning. Now, this is also a very, very important note that in order to learn AI ML, you have a lot of skills that you need to gain. That is Python, MySQL, Tableau, data mining tools. This is common for even learning big data. Big data is the first step to know. Then comes AI ML. Okay, so artificial intelligence and machine learning. What specific things you need to upskill yourself in? Linear algebra, signal processing techniques, neural network architecture. So you need to know three of the main essential components of it. All right, next is blockchain development. Now we know the hype about cryptocurrencies that have come up these days, right? To live up to that hype, you need to know how that functions, how those cryptocurrencies functions. The backbone of those is blockchain. Even Bitcoin, Ethereum, they have a lot of different cryptocurrencies. The backbone in the development is blockchain. Now, blockchain has today grown into a multi-billion dollar business. Now, if you know blockchain, you are in a completely different league. And the best part is that it's not very hard to, learn the skill. Okay, you need database skills, MySQL, Hadoop. You need programming languages. You need network management. That's it. Your work is done in this regard. So how do you learn that? I'll tell you how to learn it. How do you develop blockchains? I'll tell you that. You just have to stay with me for another 5 to 10 minutes. I'll tell you where to get these necessary skills. For all those people again who do not have a programming background, video marketing, video editing has really, crossed all the barriers to the level it has reached today. In the early 2000s, what we used to have a lot of different companies that used to market their products using the production houses. They used to build that videos. Today, if you have a camera, you can build any video at any time. You can edit it in your laptops. You don't need very supercomputers to do that. You can do it in your laptop as well. What do you need to learn in this particular thing? You need to learn about Adobe Photoshop. You need to learn about Premiere Pro. You need to learn about the Illustrator and also Canva. All these four things, if you know, you are good to go in the marketing domain. What would be your job titles? It would be the editors, senior editors, video editors, SEO experts again. So you would have a fair bit of amount in content marketing as well when you learn video editing and video marketing. All right. Now, if you, this is also one of the skill that I really appreciate, that is supply chain and logistic management. Now, if you are somebody who have been noticing the patterns of Amazon, Flipkart, Zomato, Myntra, Swiggy, we used to have 10-day deliveries in the past decade, in 2011 12. If you would have ordered anything, it would have come like 7 days or 8 days. Just imagine the time, how much it takes now. It takes 2 days, maybe one day. In some of the metro cities even take 2 hours, right? Even Zomato, it gives you food in just over, like, from 10 minutes to 15 minutes you would get your order, 30 minutes, right? So this supply chain network that they have built, logistic management they have built, is through the efforts of people who are working in this particular domain. This is a very high, high paying domain as well, and also very competitive in nature. The industry trends keep on changing because everyone is looking to deliver the products to customers in less and less time, right? You need to minimize the risk of, disrupting the supply chain, to get any of the misses that happen. You do not want any of the misses, right, to any of the customers. So you need to make sure that it is the most effective way, because supply chain and logistic management, right, it is the most competitive field, because companies want to keep cut their costs. They want to keep their costs at the minimum and create an efficient value chain. That is really important. Now companies are seeking for methods to create value added services to create more sophisticated customers. The concept would be like GIT concept: inventory management and production management. GIT is just in time philosophy. That is a Japanese philosophy of supply chain logistic management. You learn about that in the thing that I'll tell you next. Now, as I mentioned at the start of this particular session, what would be the bonus that you will be getting in this particular session? Now, I want all of you to go to a site called Great Learning Academy, right? Just go to the site called Great Learning Academy. Type in your Google Sheet, Great Learning Academy. Type in Google, Bing, any search engine. Just type Great Learning Academy. So the website that comes up is Great Learning Academy. Now, if you scroll down in this particular website, you would find a lot of courses. Now, let me tell you, all these courses are free of cost. You do not have to pay a single bit. You would get certifications after completion of all these courses, right? Successful completion of all these courses, you will get a certificate. Now, as I mentioned you, what are the skills that are required, right? So if I go to machine learning, right? I talked about Python. Someone asked me that if programming is required to be known, okay, you can learn programming from here. Every course is beginner level. You can know what are the courses you need to take, right? We talked about what? Data science. Let's see data science. Click on the data science here. You'll find from scratch every domain here at Great Learning Academy is from scratch. We deeply believe that people should take more and more courses to upskill themselves in the industry, in the competitive industry that we are today. Okay, so this is data science foundation courses. You have higher level, and if you go beyond, you can also take the intermediate courses that are above the beginner level courses, right? If you want really advanced courses, then we have the PG program that we'll talk about later. But this is the free segment that we have. This is the free courses that we provide to all the learners that are out there. We want everyone to upskill their self, right? Then again, artificial intelligence, again, is a very, very high important domain these days. You can learn deep learning here. You can learn about neural networks. You can learn about a lot of different stuff, TensorFlow. You can learn about the segment analysis. You can just go and attend all these courses. You can just click on them. You can find what is this about, what are the skills that you're going to learn this particular thing. You can enroll for free. You can see how many learners have registered, how many are currently taking this particular session. You can know how important these courses are in the industry that we live today. And all these are from the top faculties across the globe that we have. We bring you the best of education possible. All right. Again, I talked about the UI UX design for non-programmers, right? You can take your, we have Photoshop session, editing basics, we have UI UX design. All these things are courses available in this particular section for free. You can go, you can talk about that. Someone asked me if the session could be in Hindi. So we have the courses in Hindi as well, right? You can click on any of the courses. You can learn in Hindi if that is what you're comfortable in. We have courses in Hindi as well. Again, if you are someone who are looking for again supply chain management or something like that on something that is really really coming forward like content marketing, we have various courses on content marketing as well, right? Market research, right? I talked about market research, principles of management, social media marketing. You have various tons of courses available at Great Learning Academy. You just have to go www.mygreatlearning.com/academy and you can find all these courses there. Now, more like that, more like that, if you have to know what else do we provide, we also have a section in which we provide you with the job opportunities with various other companies, right? Crack your dream job with Career Boost. We have another segment called Career Boost in which you can join from free, and this is a platform where you can find jobs, right? You can see all jobs, you can see what are the different packages are offered here from different various companies, right? Microsoft 44 LPA software engineer, you can apply for these jobs for free in this particular career boost section, right? So this is, you can join for free. You can know that about the recent placements also. You can see that, right? Different companies are there, tons and tons of companies. You can read the testimonials, right? You can read everything, right? You just have to go and see what are the testimonials that we provide. The point is that we have enough of the courses for you all to upskill yourself, to change your career path. If you have a career gap in between, you can do that. If you're fresher right out of the college and you need to be in the major leagues, you want to upskill, you want to be in the top 1%, you need to upskill yourself, because education in college is not enough. You need to make sure you have the skills that are required to meet in the industry levels. That is really really important. Again, guys, I'll be taking up questions now. If you have any questions regarding anything that I've talked about, you can put them in the chat box. I'll be more than happy to reply to all of your queries. Okay, someone is asking me that you have free courses and do you have anything paid? Yes, we do have. If you want to know about the paid courses, I'll tell you that as well. So, if people have a lot of different queries, right? If people have 6 years of gap in their CV, if they are too old to go to a college, right? If they don't feel good that they are going to college, we have courses from the top universities as well. Okay. I'll just show you. We have PG programs, diploma programs that you can take. We have a top rated program in the world, that is PGP in data science. We have then in from IIT Roorkee, we have full stack development. We have online MBA from different in association with different colleges. Now, if you want to do that, you'll get a very, very high assistance to the courses that you're opting for. We'll also provide you the assistant in the placements that happen, because we'll talk to a lot of industry experts. We have collaborations with a lot of companies and colleges. Now we are bridging the gap between the two and providing you the best opportunity that is possible. So you can go ahead, you can click on any of the courses, you can download their brochure, you can see what are the things that they provide, what are the different, curriculums and all. You can download the brochure, you'll know about that, what are the things that we provide. So that is to answer your question. Any other questions, if anyone has, I'll be more than happy to answer. So we are conducting these live sessions every day this week at 12 p.m. and 5 p.m. So if you are available to attend these sessions, then do, because this is completely career changing, right? You can really gain a lot of knowledge, because this is a knowledge pack session that we provide. Today, my colleague Shantanu Rana will be providing you with another session at 5 p.m. today on five or major things that or career paths that you can choose from, right? So do attend that session as well, because again, that you will learn a lot about the various programs that have been come up. So, Praveen, if you enroll in the courses, right, in our courses, you have case studies that you will solve, right? So that is how you would gain knowledge about data science, right? You would have a case study that the instructor will solve with you, so you can gain knowledge. If you want a real-time project, right, then you have to enroll in our PG courses. From PG courses, you will have a complete project that they would be giving you as per the industry standards. But if you want certifications, if you just are a beginner to know, then you can take the data science course from Great Learning Academy. Amit, you can type your question again. I could not see it in the chat box. Okay, so Manikandan is asking me about AI and it. Listen, so you want to know that what would be the better for your growth. So if you are from a coding background, then you can directly start with artificial intelligence. But if not, what would be your path? You would first know coding, then you learn about data management skills, you learn about MySQL, Tableau, and all that you will learn, data visualization techniques. Then you will go ahead with artificial intelligence and machine learning. So that is your step, how it would be. For salary, if you are asking me, yeah, if you have done artificial intelligence, then that, of course, that would be better, Amit. Manikandan, sorry. All right, if in okay, someone. No, Rahul. You do not require the knowledge of Linux operating system for data science. Does not matter if you know. What really is important for data science, since a lot of you are asking me, you need to know either Python, or you can know about R programming. Then you need to know about MySQL and Tableau. You would be good to go in the data science domain. Praveen is asking me, are PG free? No, Praveen. Great Learning Academy is free. PG is the programs that we are associated with different colleges, right? That are the paid side of our programs. That is a very high level of education that you would get. You can visit this website of Great Learning. You will know all about that. You can enroll yourself in Great Learning Academy courses, that's for free. If you want to learn more than that, if you want to gain the knowledge of the industry, if you want to be in the major leagues, then you have to enroll in our PG courses. Ria, I already answered that question on Praveen's behalf. That is really good, Manikandan, that you have enrolled yourself in AI course. If you have enrolled yourself in AI course, I'll suggest you to enroll in any of the beginner level courses as well. If you do not know about coding, learn about coding as well as about AI. Go step by step, but go in a more consistent manner. Any other questions about anything that you have, you can put them in the chat box, irrespective of what the session is. If you want any other career advice as well, you can put it in the chat box. No, someone has asked me, do we help in starting our own startup? We help you with the skills that are required in the domain that you want to build your career in, right? If you want to build your own career, we will provide you with the skills that are required. We'll upskill you in that regard. We'll give you entire assistance in making sure that your skills that are required are good. We'll provide you with the knowledge. Fatima, you can go in the website and check Great Learning Academy and just search what you want to know there. I'm pretty sure there is a course on risk analysis as well. You can go and check that out. All right, then. Thank you so much for attending this session. Again, there is a session at 5 p.m. by Shantanu Rana. He'll be talking about the five career important programs that are there. So make sure you attend that particular live session as well. Thank you so much for attending the session, guys.